This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
This is a conversation between myself and Sotiris, Anunnaki, or is it 5, from the Greek outfit SEPTICFLESH. Sotiris is the vocalist, or a vocalist, guitarist and songwriter in the group, and the catalyst for our conversation is due to the launch of a new album from the lads titled Modern Primitive. It is out now. Before we get to the conversation, if you are listening via the podcast apps, I've got a tune to share with you. Of course, it's from the album. It is titled Coming Storm, and once that's done, we'll dive into the conversation. For all of you who have tuned in via YouTube, we're going to cut to the conversation right now. Let's go.
You are
G'day, mate.
Hi there.
How are you?
Really well. Thank you.
You're doing the old Zoomer grind. Can't call it phono grind anymore, but you're doing the old grind with the Zoomers worldwide, talking about the album.
Yeah. Well, a lot of zooming.
Hey, do you have, being Greek, you must have family living in Australia.
Actually, no. But I
You
know
don't?
many others that have.
Yeah, I think it was Greece's the equivalent to the treasurer was born in Australia. There's this unusual connection. When I say unusual, it is what it is. But there's this connection between Greece and Australia that I don't think Greece has with any other country in the world. We know a ton of Greek people, and if you go to Sydney and Melbourne in particular, there are whole suburbs where the surname is, Hatzatouris or Delimitriou, this sort of thing.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yes, indeed. That's a fact. A lot of Greece went many years ago and started their life in Australia.
Yeah, post-World War II, there was a massive immigration boom from Italy and Greece in particular. But the Greeks, yeah, mate, we've got whole, football, soccer. We call football soccer here, but soccer clubs here. And Ange Postecoglou, who is Australian but of Greek heritage, he's now managing Celtic Football Club in Scotland and was our national manager. So, succeeding and doing all sorts of things all over the world now, Greek Australians.
Well, it's crazy. It's really nice.
How have the calls been going though? Have you found that people have been asking you intriguing and interesting questions? In other words, do they get that, when you're having a chat about a new album, it's time to chat about the new album?
Well, it seems that the new album has a lot of questions because it has the lyrical content. It has also the music is also really theatrical. It is also our first album by Nuclear Blast, and this is for us an introduction to a lot of people because Nuclear Blast has a huge audience, and for us it's a new experience, you can say, with Nuclear Blast.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of questions that I've planned to ask you, but I might lead with that one there. Why did you leave Seasons of Mist for Nuclear Blast?
Because actually, Season of Mist is a good label, of course. We had a good collaboration, but there is a limit to what they can do. Everybody has a limit, and it seems that we reached to their limit of what they could do for SEPTICFLESH, while SEPTICFLESH will do more. And Nuclear Blast spotted this fact and made us a proposal. And it was for us a really easy choice, especially when we saw that Nuclear Blast was going to take us without interfering at all to our creativity. And from day one, they were really supportive to us, really friendly and open to discussion, and we have great communication. It is for the best for the band,
Did Marcus sign you guys, or were you dealing with label people?
What?
Marcus Steiger, the head of... Oh, no, Marcus is over at Atomic Fire. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, it's all right. Yeah, I'm getting my Atomic Fires and my Nuclear Blasts confused. Were there any overtures, though, from Atomic Blast to bring you over to them? Atomic Fire, to bring you over to them?
We know a lot of people from the industry, of course. But whatever has to do with labels, we have a manager in the band that is responsible for this situation. We are mainly focused on the music aspect of the job. Of course, we meet a lot of people, and there is a kind of friendly attitude from all around. So we feel really great, and the plans of the band are going really well right now.
Yeah, well, I can tell because Modern Primitive is it's another vast and bombastic addition to the Septic Flesh catalogue. Look, you've been in this business 30 years now. I mean, I'm sure it probably doesn't feel like that, but that's literally how long it's been, probably longer as a matter of fact. In and amongst that 30 years, you've had 11 albums amongst other releases. So was there anything different that you as a band that you'd said, this is what we want to do and achieve with Modern Primitive compared to albums past?
When we start composing an album, we have the previous album as the immediate opponent. And especially the last album, Codex Omega, was really
very good
strong release.
Yeah,
really good, and we all felt it. And so we had this opponent to beat. Also being in a new level and introducing us with an album was an additional stressing factor that we had to deal with. But you have to be grounded to reality and start from the most important thing. And the most important thing is to have inspiration and to create good songs. It's not about overanalyzing everything. And if you start from the point of making decisions from day one, strategies to follow, what to do, it's wrong in our opinion. So we started focusing on our emotions. The good thing with SEPTICFLESH is that all the members of the band are composers and contribute ideas. It's not a band that has only one member to take the whole responsibility. And so there are ideas from all directions. And when someone feels a little bit overwhelmed at some points, some other from the band takes the idea to the next step. So we had this luxury in the band. And we started just by saying to ourselves that we have to beat the previous one. And we will not stop trying until we all feel that we have done so. That was the only rule of thumbs.
I'm glad you brought up Codex Omega because it is considered one of the great modern heavy metal albums. It's had a tremendous impact. It's actually, when you go into a lot of those fan forums on Reddit, on those best of albums in a career, it's actually number one or number two for you guys, which is, to be honest, it's really unusual that late in a career. When I say that late in a career, almost 30 years in, you have your best album. What other band does that happen with? But look, it's an outstanding album, I must say, and I'm going to have to live with Modern Primitive a lot longer before I compare it to Codex Omega. But that's the point.
Yes.
Did you feel a lot of pressure to follow up after such a stellar accomplishment?
Yes, actually, it's a pressure that builds up from album to album. As you said, we are a veteran band, and so we have tried many times to surpass ourselves. And always there is this question to our mind that can we make it? But you have to strive. You have to focus on the task. You have to trust your instinct. There is no golden formula, no guarantee good result, great result. We are not aiming for good result because actually when an idea we feel that it's good, we just leave it behind and try for something better. So you have to be really harsh to yourself, a really harsh judge. Actually, we created the double songs, more than 20 songs for the album. but you have to just continue. So we throw a lot of stuff out, as you can imagine. So we kept on working until we all felt that we had something more powerful. And that was the case also with Codex Omega, with all the previous albums. We feel really great when we see that people choose our latest albums as their favorite, because that means that all this effort is appreciated by the fans. Also, I understand what you're saying, because when something is really fresh and new, you have to digest it first. It's not, you cannot judge from day one that this will be my favorite album of Septic Flesh. You have to live with it for a while. Yes. You have to experience it. You have to let it also let a period of time and listen to it again after some months. And when you listen, then you will have a more objective thought about each album. This is also the same with us as a band. But for us, it's not about choosing this is the best, this is the best. It is about having albums that really represents us at the time of their creation, and feel proud about the albums. And we have this.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, look, I've listened to it a few times, and I can already say to the audience, people listening, that the album contains plenty of drama, intrigue, and a lot of tension, I've got to say, because of the way you've got the contrast between the light and the dark, the more orchestral movements and the heavy stuff. I love the way you've done that. Even rock bits. I love the way you've got some rock stuff. I can't remember the names of the songs because I have it on in the background when it's, I've had it for a week or so, but playing in the background, and I feel like rock music is coming there too, which I just love as well. Rock music, metal tends to be interchangeable, but metal is the thing with you guys. So do you write with the metal front of mind first, and then do you layer the orchestration?
No, we try to create compositions first. Also, we are attempting a variety of approaches from song to song. There are some songs, like, for instance, Coming Storm, that was created first symphonically. We had from Christos, that is on the helm of the symphonic element of Septic Flesh, his ideas. And we had to think about the guitars and whatever. Actually, we try to be unbiased because a good song is a good song.
Yeah.
No matter if it's played by violin, by guitar, and also a bad song is a bad song. So we just, at first, we just focus on bringing the good ideas on the table. We know, for instance, that some riffs are going to be played, of course, by the guitar, because that's the strength of the instrument. Also, some specific melodies. We know the strengths and weaknesses of each instrument. And so the decisions about which instrument is going to be at the end the protagonist is something that comes along during a long process. It's not something that it's from day one arranged. So you can say that Septic Flesh are thinking more as composers than just rock or metal or
songwriters.
Symphonic.
Yeah. Yeah, you composers. Yeah, I definitely feel that. Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned Coming Storm. I know it was a single. It was certainly sent through to me as an isolated track, if that means it's a single. But look, it sounds like it could have been the score to a satanic take on the popcorn movie The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. It has all those elements. So my question for you after making that statement is, surely to goodness someone's heard what you're capable of achieving and asked if you can write a soundtrack, like an actual soundtrack for a movie.
It's something that we want to do. We're just waiting. But the phone call is not yet
Hasn't materialized. Yeah. It's a shame.
But I think that we are the most appropriate band to do a soundtrack for some really dramatic and intense movie. I don't know. Probably, it's everything in life is a surprise. Maybe it will come someday.
I think your music is suited to the vinyl medium specifically. Would you agree?
The vinyl for the sound, you mean?
Vinyl, yeah, exactly, yeah. Like those speakers just over there, if I can put my finger the right way, like really good. Because I've got a vinyl setup over there. I'm remodeling, if you can't tell. And but I think I'll certainly look at getting Codex Omega on vinyl, but I might even get Modern Primitive on vinyl once I've lived with it a lot longer on the MP3 format. But I can't imagine that it would sound better on any other quality medium.
Yes, I agree with you because also I'm a vinyl lover. But besides the fact of that the sound is more warm and human on the vinyl, and the whole ritualistic element of putting the violence in the vinyl and focusing on the instead of pushing a button in your PC or whatever. And the MP3, of course, suppression to the sound and the wave suppression to the sound. Besides that, we have also a strong visual element that when you have a surface like in a vinyl, it's more impressive to see the details. And that's why, for instance, we made the choice to put the specific cover as the cover of the vinyl, and the other cover as the cover for the CD of Modern Primitive.
I haven't seen it. I didn't realize that. So you got two different covers. Obviously, is the vinyl version an enlarged, like when I say a more expansive version of what the CD gets?
Yes, actually, Seth surpassed himself because he had also plenty of time in his hands. And at some point, he surpassed 100 layers of Photoshop,
oh, my God. I do Photoshop, so I get that. Yeah, that's enormous.
Yes, because it's enormous, yes, because it's like you have, more than 100 layers of art. The one laid before the other, So it's a whole world. He created the whole world with so many details. It would be impossible to put this cover to the small CD jewel case and really appreciate it. So the cover for the CD is more minimalistic. You get the meaning right away. When you get the vinyl, then it's like you have in front of you a strange mirror and of another world, a world of decay for mankind. And you can spend many hours and examining the characters, the situations, the backgrounds, everything. It's by itself is an experience.
I bet, yeah. I bet I'm going to have to check it out. Yeah, hopefully JB Hi-Fi or someone nearby actually has the edition I can pick up in store, because I'd love to check it out before you can go through Nuclear Blast web store, but you want to see these things when you pick them up. It's a special thing, isn't it?
Yes, I understand, because also this great feeling when you are going to a music store and you search, it's a physical interaction. Yes. You are there, you're touching the vinyls, you are set. It's an experience, for us that are more older. And, sometimes when you get older, you have a nostalgia about times that you had, that you spent it, when your favorite bands were releasing an album and you had to go to the store and wait and buy it and stuff like that.
I remember
this physical interaction is important, I think.
I remember those days well. I remember getting Street Media, the magazine, and it'd tell you the release date for an album, and you go in the morning, And you go in the morning before work and you'd line up, and sometimes they'd have the box there already delivered, and they'd open up the box in front of you and go, yeah, here's the CD or here's the vinyl. It was all CDs back in the days, you remember, in the 90s, that's my era. I think we're the same age. So, but look, with the lyrical themes too, I do follow you on Instagram, and I noticed that your bio states that you support vampire dreams and occult science. So are these the themes that you use for your lyrics?
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes. It's something that it is really deep inside me since I was a child. Before even I found some lineage and some hints, there were some themes that I had always passing to my mind, and some interests, you can say. And some questions, because everything starts with a question, and debate, you can say. You have to attack something with all your might, and if it doesn't fall, then it's true. This is my perspective.
That's so true.
Of course,
great perspective.
Of course, what I mean by cult, I don't mean hocus pocus. I don't mean nonsense and things just to impress, like the magician in a circus. I mean about the things that are hidden, because, and that's why I mention also science, because for me, something must work all the time, not some, now it works, now it doesn't. If you have found something that really works all the time, then it's valid. Or if it doesn't work, something happened and that interfered. It's so you have to, if you want to have results and not only to just be a poser, as many people are, you have to validate your experiences, and you have to repeat your experience by will. And this kind of treating the will, that is something that is not materialized in front of you. It's not, the will has no face, it's invisible, but it is, it exists, the will, for instance. These kind of things that are more based on energy and more based on materializations of your desires, they are not at first visible, but when the results are visible, then it's a success that you can verify.
You're a smart fellow to make that distinction. So do you subscribe, or do you lean into the philosophy of LaVey Satanism, or is it beyond that?
Of the?
LaVey, Anton Santor LaVey Satanism?
Well, I don't like the brands, the putting labels, Satanism, Christianism, because actually I don't like at all the Satanism as a name, because it's a direct linkage to Christianism. Yeah. For me, this is something that always why I avoid to say I'm a Satanist and something like this, because I don't want to use to become the flag of Christians and to use their own flags, or their own names. But on the core of the philosophy, I'm of Anton LaVey. I'm really, really close, because for me it's a matter of philosophy. LaVey and his church quote, his way of thinking resonates with my way of thinking more than the way of thinking of some other guys that find a fancy name just and perform some rituals with saying some words and all gather all together and do stuff and think that they are magicians. For me, if you want to be someone powerful, your own God, you have to be a philosopher first. You have to find inside yourself the answers. The answers are not told by one person only, by LaVey or by anybody else, or by the Bible. There is no book that contains all truth and all. It's impossible. But you can find really useful thoughts for food, food for thoughts. And then you have to build on your own, because you have to have your own strength. It's like a muscle that you have to develop inside of you. So to answer your question, I'm really close to what LaVey says, but not limited.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, I think this is the first time I've spoken about this on my show, but I'm a committed Christian, but I'm also spiritually satanic, if that makes sense, meaning that I identify with LaVey's message. It makes a lot of sense. But then I also identify with the hope and the message of salvation through the message of Christ. And I don't think that they're necessarily contradictory, but a lot of people, they don't think about these sorts of things, and they don't. And I'm so glad you mentioned they don't have the philosopher's perspective. They don't think about things in a way where it's like, how can we make these things work? They just take them at face value and say they don't actually mesh. And Satan is a Christian construct. There's no doubt about that. If it wasn't for the Christian church, there would be no Satan, because he's Lucifer, the first light, the fallen angel, this sort of thing. But do you find that in interviews these sorts of topics come up often?
No, actually no. Because actually, the kind of reaction that Satanism provided in the older days now is gone, because many grimmer things are happening on mankind, and people are not so impressed by this kind of stuff anymore. It's not a hot topic, you can say. It's not a revolutionary as it was. It's more like a norm, and everything can become like a norm. And when you turn something into a norm, then it's not against. It's not the enemy. It's not someone with the power to attract and create conversations and topics and stuff like that. But in my case, this is good, because it's not everything a matter of making impressions, and it distracts from the truth and from the actual meaning that we have to. Each one of us have to think for himself. He has to accept the consequences of his actions, and the good and the bad. Everybody makes choices. Everybody, whatever you choose, religion or no religion, philosophically specific attitudes, it's up to you, and it's up to you to accept the benefits or the bad things that will come with this.
As a Greek, do you think about the idea that all modern philosophy, all modern academic framework, and even most religious framework has its origins in ancient Greece? Is that something that you feel await as a modern Greek?
Actually, the ancient Greek spirit and philosophy managed to survive and spread around the whole world and being transmuted, you can say, and being a starting point for other thinkers and other ways to evolve the philosophical thought. But of course, also the Greek thought had some background, because you cannot say that everything started in Greece. There were ancient, even more ancient civilizations. And as the trade between different countries evolved with the passing of years, wherever there was trade, there were chances for different kinds of people from different countries to meet, to share their different philosophical points. Also, the Greeks, as Greeks, we had this impulse to travel around, to meet other people. So a lot of ancient people traveled all around to the nearest places, to Egypt, to and the other places that were really close at the time and more easily accessible. And so they learned a lot of stuff. And as I told you before, it's how you digest the information that you get, and then you make it your own and you build upon it. So a lot of great thinkers started to appear, and those great thinkers made quite an impact around them. And it's like a force. But if there is a strong force, then molecules start gathering around, and the molecules were other people and other philosophers. And so if you have something powerful, it creates copies of itself. And those copies tend to get their own identity and evolve. So it's, you can say, a chain, a philosophical chain that starts before Greece. In Greece, there was a big boom, a big spread all around, and focus on the most important aspects of all their philosophical ideas. And then the whole world took advantage of this evolution in thinking.
Yep.
Because it was a thought that besides thinking about deities and gods and all-powerful beings, started shifting the focus towards the humans instead of towards the experience and towards life. And so it was a really important evolution, and something that we feel really proud as Greeks.
Just a quick roll call for people who are listening, just to bookend what we're talking about here. Pythagoras is the father of mathematics. Protagoras is the relativist Greek philosopher, the first. Okay, Socrates is the father of Western thought, and Plato is by far the most famous ancient Greek philosopher, covering a lot of ground there. And then, of course, we've got Aristotle. Okay, so we're talking about people who are integral to fostering Western civilization. Without them, effectively, Western civilization it may have evolved, but it doesn't evolve the way it did without their thinking. When you're at school in Greece as a young fella, and even amongst your friends, why Greece? That's the question. It could have been anywhere. It could have been India, could have been North America, could have even been Australia potentially. But why do you think it was Greece in particular that had such a profound impact and influence? Why was it the Greeks that were selected by God potentially to be the source and the influence of all civilization as we know it?
I don't know. Probably it is. I think that Greece, as I told you, was in the middle of a lot of different ideas. It was the position of Greece at the time, in combination with other great civilizations. And when you are on the crossroads, you can say, of east, west, and etc. And it's a really a great privilege. And of course, as it was really a place that the trade was thriving. There were a lot of chances for this to happen. I think also in the power of the chance. When the soil is more fertile, there is a chance that you have best plants, best results. I think this is the situation. And of course, also it's about randomness and about having some really studying out personalities that were born in Greece. Maybe if Plato were born in another country, it would be the same. But he was born in Greece,
Yeah.
That was also a part of the strange selection of Greece.
Yeah. Yeah. For people who don't know, Aristotle actually was the mentor and tutor of Alexander the Great, the greatest leader the world has ever known. And now I know there's a dispute over whether he's actually Greek or Macedonian, but the point is he's from that part of the world. So he's influenced by the thinking from that part of the world. That's my point there. So look, I'm going to take a bit of a left turn from here. I'm going to talk about the metal again. Okay. Tell me, I've never interviewed the guys in Christian, but they strike me as stand-up fellas. I've certainly seen them before, and tremendous band. Can you tell me, you've toured with them a bunch of times, so this is why I'm asking you this question. Can you tell me a good tour story with your mates in Christian?
Christian?
Yeah.
So I'm actually not a continuing member of the live shows of Septicflesh, because Saikon is in my place, and I was not on the tour with Christian.
Right.
But from what I have learned from the other guys, it's a really cool band, and there is a lot of craziness when you tour. Because everything happens so fast, and one day you are in this country, the other country, and sometimes you are carried away, and a lot of energy build-ups. It's craziness.
Yeah. Frederick Nordstrom. You've worked with him on 3 of your albums. They're great albums, I've got to say. What did you feel he brought to the band that was important? Like, why did you choose to work with him for 3 albums?
Because he's a genius. He has created a really unique style, and his production generated great albums and classic albums in all kinds of metal music. It was a point that we felt that in Greece we had no chance to create the sound that we wanted, and we were searching for the most appropriate producer to make the next level of Septicflesh. And right away we felt that Frederick would be a great ally for us, because we wanted to elevate the guitar sound and the drums, and he was making really huge guitars and really powerful drums. And so we went to Sweden. It was also a learning school for us, because it was the first time that we had this chance to collaborate with someone that was 100% focused on metal. And we learned a lot, and it helped us also to the continuation of our careers. Actually, when you start making albums with experienced producers, you gain also the experience to create your songs in a more efficient manner, because eventually your songs will gonna be recorded and of course played live, and you can avoid some situations that one frequency eats the other, and you lose your power.
So true.
It was really a great school for us to work with him. He is also a really crazy guy. I can tell you a lot of stories, funny stories, great sense of humor. We had great fun for the recordings, and that's why we used him for 3 albums in a row. It was the most used producer for SEPTICFLESH. He's just amazing, I think.
Tell us one of the stories. Give us a select one of the craziest stories that you think people would like to hear.
About the recordings of with
working with Fred in general. Yeah, working with Fred. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first day that we arrived, he took us from the airport. It was summer, and it was a time that in Sweden there was a really small night and day, and the sun was up all day. And so, we arrived from after a lot of time passing through the airports and stuff like that, really, really tired. And so we get to his studio, and inside the studio he had beds and stuff and everything for the band. So we lived inside the studio for the recordings, in a really huge studio complex. And after a while, he left us to sleep, and after a while, he returned. Get up! And I felt what time passed so quick, because it was, as I told you, it was light also, and I thought that it was the morning, and I felt okay. What? I don't feel at all relaxed and gaining my power back. But it was 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and he said, "Come with me," and so he took us. We went out from the studio. He took us to a boat, his boat. The Swedish guys have a lot of boats because they have all these fjords and stuff like that. I will take you somewhere. You will see. We must go there right now. And we were talking to each other, in Greek. What's going on? What's this? It was totally unexpected. Is he crazy? What is this? Mm-hmm. And he took us to a little island, and when we arrived, he gave me a hat, a prisoner hat, and he told me, "This is one for you. This is a place that we leave the prisoners to rot."
Okay.
An old prison island. And, that he would gonna leave us there, and that was just one of his pranks, his jokes and stuff like this.
What a prank.
You can imagine, 3 in the morning, going to an island like Alcatraz, He had crazy ideas and funny ideas, and he had this spontaneous reaction to everything. Yeah. So you can imagine that we spent a really strange time together, because we're also expecting someone really in the mood of making on production, serious, and he had this serious all the time. He had this serious face. He was making the pranks and the jokes, but he was looking at you really seriously, and you could not predict that he was making a joke or something, but from the evolution of the situation, you understood that he was making a joke or a prank or whatever,
probably trying to relax you guys into what would be an arduous recording session and sort of lighten things so as though you did give a good performance and didn't feel so pressured.
What?
Like you weren't going to feel a lot of pressure after that, meaning that he introduced something that was going to make you laugh, and so he's a joker, and whilst you've got a job to do, yeah.
Yes, exactly. What he did was also something that relieved the stress and also the tension, and also made things seem more like a fun experience, and also we were not so tight anymore.
Yeah.
The reaction between us and the overall collaboration was more something to enjoy and have fun and be creative, rather than being just really serious and take the guitar and just play and just push the buttons and okay, bye.
Yeah. Well, that explains why those albums sound so good then. They say, relaxed is not a term I would associate with you guys as a band, but they certainly sound cohesive enough from the perspective that you understand that you weren't stressed and frustrated maybe when you're writing those albums. So not writing, but when you're recording those albums. So that makes sense. But, mate, that's all from me. Thanks a lot for having the chat. I appreciate it, and covering all the different topics we did. I appreciate we didn't just talk about music there, but it's not often I get to talk to a musician from Greece. I think you're about I've spoken to a few in Australia that are born in Greece, but they're Australian, if that makes sense, growing up in Australia. But I think this is only the second time I've spoken to someone who's actually a musician living in Greece. So it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed it.
Me too. It was a really good talk with you.
Oh, thank you, mate. No worries. Well, look, good luck with this, and hopefully we'll see you down here on tour, on Australia on tour.
Yes, let's hope.
Fingers crossed.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. Cheers. Bye. Sotiris, Anunnaki V, or is it 5, from the Greek outfit Septic Flesh. He's the group's vocalist, guitarist, and songwriter, and that was a conversation featuring the man himself. Now, if you like that chat, there are many more just like it over at scarsandguitars.com. Click on the podcast widget and dive into a universe of conversations with many of the stars of hard rock, heavy metal, and beyond. Speaking of the stars of hard rock, heavy metal, and beyond, they also feature in my book called Scars and Guitars as well. Click on the link, the banner. It'll take you to a marketplace and you can download a sample. I haven't just necessarily transcribed the conversations. I've wrapped them up in a story. So you'll find out about me, and you'll also find out about the person I'm having a conversation with. I've got some pretty good feedback so far. I'm very happy with the way it is being received. And if you do download a copy, please let me know. I'll be more than grateful to offer you a heartfelt thanks. So my name's Andrew Mackay-Smith. I am the host of this Scars and Guitars podcast series and the writer of the Scars and Guitars book. Until next time, it is a very goodbye for now.